never miss it till it's gone. And everybody takes for granted that it's going to be around, and since it looks like he's doing it by himself, then that's all he needs, is just go ahead and do it by himself. And I know for a fact the brother always welcomes help in the work that he's doing, and it's just that a lot of people are fair weather metaphysicians, fair weather, spiritual people. When it get a little rough, everybody turn back to being Christians. They go run back to church or run back to the same, miserable life situation. I'm just happy that I met up with the good brother, because every time we have been together, there has been magic. The brother is magic. I think enough people, everybody introduce the brother at the beginning of something, and he says, okay, hello everybody, this is everybody, come on down. And say, he don't say nothing, because the brother's behind the scenes, and he works extremely hard, very hard. Everybody think I work hard when I'm up here. This brother works hard, but you don't catch it on camera. So when you're out there and you're talking, and you're dealing with amongst yourself about what Brother Valentine did, and how Bobby did this and brother did that, y'all are talking to just the people that you identify with in front of the camera. The brother behind the camera and the brother behind all of what you see up front, don't forget them. And Kevin Jackson is one of those soldiers. He's a serious brother, and like I said, it's because of Kevin that I came down. Otherwise, basically, it would be like, fuck it. There's certain people that I don't mind doing things for, because I understand where their heart is and what they're about, and Kevin is one of them. So y'all go out there, when you talk about Brother Valentine, y'all talk about Kevin Jackson as well. All right, so let's hear it for the brother. That's right. That's right. See, we need that kind of energy for the brother. I'm very happy that the responses to Kevin's call has been one of appreciation and energy. The things, like I said earlier, things are changing, things are becoming more and more obvious. They're not getting good, they're getting worse. What has to happen is a dedication to certain premises in your life. You cannot now go along as if it's a matter-of-fact day. You get up, you get into your routine. From now on, there are no more routines. Even when you're going to school, even when you think that you're going to be partying to your club, whatever, there's no more routines. If it's routine anymore, then you are falling right back into the construct. You might as well be a part of the matrix, quote unquote, and leave all of what it is that you feel is spiritual, metaphysical, use it as some kind of distraction. But if you are real and you want to do something and make it stick, change your soul frequency, then if you really, really, are about the work that I'm doing, get dedicated. Get dedicated, get dedicated. Change the way you eat. Change the way you speak to people. Change the way you accept shit from other people. Change everything. And make a change so that the change hurts. If the change don't hurt, then you bullshit. You're looking for the easy way out, and ain't nothing gonna be easy. Not in the next 20 years. I brought some information here for you to look over, if you wish. I have a letter here from a Bill Hefner, and if somebody please hand me my bag, the green bag over there. Yes, please. Thank you very much. I got a letter from a Bill Hefner here. And anybody need more chairs? There's some chairs up here y'all can get and use that. This is informal. This is mom and pop, so y'all don't worry about it. I got a letter here that I'm going to hold up to the camera so that people can see it. And if they need to zoom or whatever, it's cool. The letter is from the Congress of the United States, House of Representatives. It's to a Mr. Zeal Setzer, Salisbury, North Carolina. And it says, "Dear Mr. Setzer, enclosed is the information you requested pertaining to the Army's policy and guidance for establishing civilian inmate labor program and civilian prison camps on Army installations. This information has not yet been published. It is currently at the printers. However, it has been funded, staffed, and does reflect current Army policy." Again, I'm going to hold it up. The brother wants to zoom in to see the validity of this. Okay? And it's written by a Mr. Bill Hefner, member of Congress. Now, it says his name is William Bill Hefner, 8th District, North Carolina. I have something here from the Department of the Army. It was taken off of a microfiche. I had to continue it off into the end here because the whole writing was gone. And it says, memorandum, see distribution. Draft of Army regulations on civilian inmate labor program. Enclosed for your review and content is the draft or an Army draft regulation on civilian inmate labor utilization and establishing prison camps and Army installations or on Army installations. The draft regulation is the completion of all policy message. Civilian Inmate Labor Oversight Committee. Civilian Inmate Labor Oversight Committee. Policy occasions and lessons learned to date. The new repulsion will provide the following, or the new regulation, I'm sorry, it's all eaten up here, will provide the following. A, policy for civilian inmate utilization on installations. B, procedures for preparing requests to establish civilian inmate labor programs on installations. C, procedures for preparing requests to establish civilian prison camps on installations. The regulation will not be official until the printed copies are distributed. Therefore, drafts should not be in circulation as an official document as yet. Please forward your comments on DA Form 2028, recommended changes to publications in black forms, to wherever it is, blah, 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 blah. So these are official documents of the Army as well as Congress. Now, what I have here are the American concentration camps. And the name of the website, you can check it out, is www.aptn.org/APTN/camps, CAMPS.htm. Let me say that again. www or 666.aptn.org/camps.htm. And on there, you will get a very good layout of all of the facilities and why they are there, how they are slated or structured to be camps when they try to hide these situations. And let me see. There's another letter I got. And this is also from the Department of the Army as well. Got that? Okay. It says, Dear Senator Brio, this replies to your letter on behalf of Mrs. Kathy D. McDaniel concerning the Civilian Inmate Labor Program. The United States Army Training and Doctrine Command circulated a copy of a draft regulation governing the Army's Civilian Inmate Labor Program to installations for comment. The Army routinely sends draft regulations to installations and major commands for publication. Draft regulations are not official policy until published formally and may look significantly different from their actual regulation. At present, this regulation remains in draft form. Mrs. McDaniel also requested a copy of the draft regulation under the Freedom of Information Act. The Army is processing this request to determine which portions of the draft regulation are released before final publication. The copy of the final regulations will be provided to her when it becomes published. The term inmate or civilian inmate labor refers to work performed by civilian inmates and distinguishes them from military inmates incarcerated in separate military confinement facilities. The civilian inmates are nonviolent, usually within 1 year of parole, do not require constant guard, and pose no escape threat. The program uses civilian inmates from federal and state penal facilities to work on 9 Army installations. Civilian prison camps refers to the residential, listen to this, there's civilian inmate labor camps, then there's civilian prison camps. Refers to the residential programs which house inmates in prison facilities on the base. There are 4 such camps on 9 installations which participate in the program. A federal prison facility exists in Fort Bliss, Texas, the other on Fort Dix, New Jersey. And a state prison facility exists in Camp Atterbury, Indiana, and another at Fort Dix, New Jersey. The Army has been using civilian inmates to perform building maintenance and renovation, landscaping, reforesting, grounds maintenance, and custodial work since 1989. Civilian inmate labor does not interfere with the mission or operation of the installation and augments an existing military workforce and contractor. Check that out. Anybody manning the camera? I want to show you a map of the United States on the West Coast where these camps exist. The little circles, if you can get a real zoom on that, the circles are where the camps are. These are labor camps, prison camps. That's on the west coast. And now just hold it there. Zoom in on the top one here. That's on the east coast. There's one there near Florida by Atlanta. Fort Evans. Show that again, bro. This is in Michigan. The one here is in Michigan. This is another one. This is another shot, I believe, of the one in Michigan. I'm not sure if the one I just showed you is in Massachusetts. This one is in Michigan. This is in Fort Dix, New Jersey. Not to keep people out. Usually when you want to keep people out, the fence is curved to the outside. This one is curved to the inside to keep people in. This is how the beast will look when he comes at your door. He will be dressed all in black. He will not have any markings. Most likely he will be from a foreign country, preferably from the Czech Republic or around those regions. They don't care about you. They are simply here on a mission of suppression. They don't even speak your language, so they don't care that you're speaking to them in English or whatever. This is Fort Leonard Wood in Missouri, and this other one here in the bottom is in Nashville, Tennessee. These places exist, and they will be filled up soon. These, if you can look and see, these trucks will be passing in your neighborhood. You will not know what they are, but they will have slabs that are going to be fitted in the refitting of barracks, and they have bars on them. Here's another shot, a close-up shot of that same truck. You will notice that the bars are there. I believe that's all the ones I brought with me. There's something I wanted to share with you before we got into all the metaphysics. This information is very important, and I'm actually putting this down because it's for Kevin. This should be a tape that would be a must in relationship to what you have of anything, any of the tapes that you need to have. For everything that I'm going to put here, you're probably not going to get except at a $1,000 seminar. So you would want not just to make copies after you've purchased this tape from Kevin, but to ask the people to purchase them directly from them. In other words, if your friend wants to borrow your tape, say no, purchase it from Kevin. In that way, you help the brother to maintain so that he can continue with his work. I want you all to be constantly calling the brother, giving him support, seeing what he needs. And that goes for anybody who's listening to me out there who considers the work that I do valuable. Know that there are brothers and sisters behind me that need just as much of your support as I do. So this tape is going to be valuable, and I made sure that it should be and would be. Now, the present situation looks bleak, and all premises of sovereignty may go right out the window after October the 9th, 2002. The word I've gotten is after 2002, October 9, the stock market will have crashed and everything will be in chaos. Before that time, there may very well be a terrorist act that will trigger the excuse that Bush and his
cohorts, his gang, will need to activate the New World Order. I'm not sure whether my timetable is on, but I do know that sometime by mid-October, we are going to see the stock market go down to about 4,000. It's going to panic everybody. We should not panic. There is a retooling going on. Now, you may be able to quote me on this, and again, it changes so much based upon the information that I've acquired from people who I dare not talk about. There is an internal war going on right now, and the people that look like our enemies are not. These people are called the White Knights. They are quietly underground at war with the present structure that is in place. 7 men rule this planet. 9 actually, and I showed you some of them earlier. 1 came out of is in Rome right now. The others are scattered around the planet and pretty much take his lead, because his secret society is so in depth and so entrenched in every fabric of our society right now that he's the most dangerous. And that was Count von Kolvenbach, who I showed you yesterday. He is the leader of the Jesuits, and the Jesuits have been responsible for the destruction of most of our of the states and societies and kingdoms on the planet today. In fact, Mao Zedong was trained by a Jesuit. Bill Clinton was trained by Jesuits. Diem from the Vietnam War was taking his orders from the Jesuits. General Westmoreland, who orchestrated the Vietnam War, was a Catholic, and he took his orders from Cardinal Spellman in New York. He was the one conducting the Vietnam War for the purposes of killing off at least 1 to 3 million Buddhists who had been entrenched in that area for 1,000 years, and the Roman Church wanted them out of there because they wanted to possess control of the Golden Triangle, the oil and the drugs in that region. Everything that you're doing right now, the name you're using, the name that's being used that belongs to you, has you as a slave. You are a slave, and your name is being used to discharge the debt that is owed to the international bankers. You do have a remedy. You do have a way to get out of the system and be able to use the system on your behalf. But it does take some money to get out, and you only have until October. Everything that we've been doing in court has been bullshit. I don't care if you're Moorish, if you're dealing with the Moors like I am, because I'm an undercover Moor. I don't care if you're sovereign and you think you're sovereign. If you have not copywritten your name, taken your label, your property back, then it belongs to the government, and you are part of the concentration camp system. There is a brother in Maryland, and I won't say his name on camera, and I won't tell you anything about him on camera, but the price is $750. That money, most of it goes into filing your fees. There's 17 to 20 different state organizations that have to be notified. Once you have gotten your name back, your trade name, that's the all capital letters, now you'll be able to get back into the treasury. In fact, you will no longer be a debtor, you will be a creditor. Right now you are a debtor. That is why this beast can pull you over, ticket you, harass you, mess with you, because he has nothing to lose. When you become the creditor, you become his boss, and thus the price of your life and your name goes up. Now, before I continue, I would like everybody to pass their $5 or $10 to the brother over here. If you would do that, please. Oh, you all didn't think you all gonna get this for free. Well, I'm talking about all those who didn't. And if you can pass a $10 up, it'd be even better. Now, the brother gave me this as a synopsis. How you doing, brother? He gave me this as a synopsis to read for myself, but I figured I want to share it with you. And this will be a lesson of lessons. It is from a manual that exists, and most of you probably have read it. If you did, fine. It's good to always know it again. If you did not, then listen very carefully. And this is why this particular tape will be of extreme value to you. This manual is about a code. And what do I say that you all are? No, code breakers. Code breakers. As well as being a system or collection of rules and regulations, a code is always defined as, quote, a system used for secrecy of communication in which arbitrarily chosen words, letters, or symbols are assigned definite meanings, end quote. Laws today are called codes. Vehicle code, Internal Revenue Code, Uniform Code of Material Justice, penal codes, etc. Because they have been encoded from their original form. For the man on the street, accessing and utilizing these codes generally requires the services of a specially trained decoder called an attorney. 100 years ago, the average man knew the law and was equipped with knowledge for conducting himself and his affairs and avoiding unwanted legal situations, thereby himself, his family, and his property protected from all types of legal opportunists. This is no longer the case, and law is no longer just law, but a cornucopia of code requiring cavernous libraries and miles of shelving just to house its billions of pages of print. Library of Congress has over 3 million different law books on file. 3 million law books on file. If you need some chairs, brothers and sisters, why don't you come and get these for the sisters here. Has 3 million law books on file. Approximately 80 linear miles, 80 linear miles of shelf space for law books. The Uniform Commercial Code, or the UCC, the subject of this manual, is the transcendent paramount achievement of the efforts of a few thousands of intensely dedicated and single-minded collaborators, dare we call them conspiracy, for the past 2,000 years. It is the culmination of an almost incomprehensibly complex, systematic, intricate, pervasive, and far-reaching agenda of strategic and tactical global planning for securing absolute legal, financial, social, ecclesiastical, and political dominance over the people of this planet. The fundamental medium chosen to accomplish these iniquitous aims is commerce. The UCC, first introduced in 1954, has been developed across the centuries with microscopically excruciating and painstaking attention to detail for avoiding forever risk of detection and revelation of its true nature. It was fully expected that the code would never be cracked. Let me say that again. It was fully expected that the code would never be cracked. Proof of this, check this out, proof of this fact is the absence of any device or mechanism for the enforced reversal of the process and recapture of slaves who managed to break free of it. Incredibly, the development of the UCC has been so brilliantly orchestrated by the legal masters of the world that even though it permeates and dominates the everyday lives and activities of every man, woman, and child in America from conception to casket, as well as virtually every other living soul on the planet, and even though it is the most senior form of codified law throughout the world, encompassing all others, see UCC Statute 1-103, the UCC is a cultural obscurity, blending in with societal scenery so well that it does not even raise an eyebrow upon mention. Even general members of the bar, i.e., lawyers, attorneys, solicitors, advocates, and barristers, example, the foot soldiers, snipers, and assassins of the banker generals that wage war on the world, are for the most part ignorant of its far-reaching implications and applications which dominate even their lives as well. Likely will never even hear of the Uniform Commercial Code until it was brought to your attention by someone with the express purpose of revealing its influence over your very life. As an interesting side note, 2 years ago, the authors of this manual were contacted by a forward-thinking attorney on behalf of other attorneys in his law firm to purchase the first edition as soon as it was made available. Apparently, they had gotten the word from a trusted friend that the manual was being written and would be dealt with. The things that they were dealing with. The attorney also allowed that he and his partner knew that the con was going on right before their eyes every day in the legal system, and even though witnessing the daily administration of the shakedown, they just couldn't figure out exactly how it was being done. The law firm has long since acquired a copy of this first manual, but likely none of the attorneys available will avail themselves of the process. You see, an attorney occupies a special place in the grand scheme of things. Because of an attorney's connection to the crown, the source of the attorney's British title of nobility, I want you to understand that an attorney belongs to the British crown. An attorney is a foreign agent. So when you ask for an attorney in the court, you are asking for the help of a foreigner to see you in your court. Think about that. He has a British title of nobility, that being Esquire. All judges are esquires as well, and so are all of your senators and all of your congressmen. Via his or her misnamed license to practice law, and because only an attorney can represent the banks and corporations or artificial persons that are owned and controlled by the creditors of almost every single government on earth, attorneys cannot personally access this process. Attorneys are hired guns. They are mercenaries of the hate merchants and warmongers that operate the legal juggernaut that is intent on devouring every last shred of personal wealth and freedom of the common folk around the world. Every whore has his or her price, and this type is no exception. Judges and attorneys, or esquires, have literally sold their souls to the devil for the inside tract and a few easy bucks. Accordingly, since they are owned, they can never access sovereignty. Just like the whore, they have no personal freedom till the customer is satisfied that he has gotten what he has paid for. For esquires, it's a lifetime affair with the crown and the powers behind it. Accessing sovereignty requires that an esquire renounce his or her license, practice law. In other words, once you have finished law school, you don't get a license to teach or even to practice. You get a certificate from the head judge of the district that you are going to practice in. There is no such thing as a license to practice law. Ask your lawyer to produce one. If you do, he more than likely will produce a certificate. That's not a license.
Lawyers speak a different language too.
Esquires also believe they are immune against attacks from us little people. As you will learn from the Tin Man, that being the taxpayer identification number man, the Tin Man in the Wizard of Oz, as you will discover in the practical portion of this manual, the laws of commerce are heartless and apply equally to all, including attorneys and judges, for a comprehensive expose. They're telling you to see the end of it. Any judge or attorney who attempts to use your private name, copyrighted trade name that is, for financial gain without first obtaining your express written authorization and consent faces the same legal commercial consequences that as anyone else, cataclysmic, personal financial ruin, because in commerce all are equal under the law. Judges, though also esquires, are a different creature than attorneys and receive special training in Reno, Nevada at the National Judicial College. There are 3,500 judges that are trained every year. In Scottsdale, Arizona, sometimes hundreds of hours over their careers for learning better ways of applying the UCC in the courtroom and handling dissidents and unruly slaves who set a bad example for other paying customers. This is the genius of the legal masters of the world. The population and even many of the bar attorneys themselves believe that the law being practiced in the courtroom is the law, i.e. the only law being administered in the courtroom, whereas it is actually only a carefully orchestrated shadow of the real thing, an exhibition in histrionics par excellence. The UCC is not particularly concerned with the Social Security account numbers, and including such is an option on the filing forms. Now let me say something. On your UCC 1 that allows you to become free of this, there is no box for race. Let me say that again. Anything that you're filing that asks for your race is categorizing your place as a slave. Anything. The UCC has no such catalog or category. The UCC filing office, located in each state, provides public notice of private matters and is concerned primarily with identifying those registered within by name only, just like it has 100 years ago before the Federal Reserve Act and the Social Security Act, when a man's name, honor, and reputation were his most valuable possession, and upon this his entire future depended in no small part. As you will discover, the Social Security account number is a public number associated with a public persona, a person, a legal entity different from yourself and artificial as well, i.e. existing in contemplation of by force of law only. In other words, brothers and sisters, the name that they use to try to get you to do business with them is your all caps name. It is an artificial entity. It is a dead name. If you go to your obituaries, you will see that the people who have died all have capital names. This name is your alter ego, your all capital letters trade name, your straw man. See the legal terminology for straw man in your book. A straw man serves its owner or its master with slavish devotion, but you didn't even know that you had one. He has been running around obligating you and entering into all kinds of unconscionable contracts and causing you much grief, headache, and economic misery. It is time you get to know this fellow and set things straight. This manual will show you how to discover your straw man and bring him under control, your control instead of theirs. Most people understand that the law is very precise, with legalized deadly violence associated with the words appearing in the text of the codes that are enforced by courts and police alike. The English language and its accepted rules of grammar are likewise precise, however, and make no accommodation for writing proper nouns in all capital letters. The all capital letters written name that appears on your Social Security card, driver's license, passport, bank statement, credit cards, etc., and which is rigidly insisted upon and enforced by legal systems, is not there by is not there by mistake, but it is not your true name, which consists of the so-called Christian name plus the surname or family name, and appears with only initial letters capitalized. The initial letters capitalized. The all caps version is your trade name, the name under which you do business, and is written in another language entirely. It is called legalese. All names, including true names, constitute property and can be copywritten under the common law. Strangely enough, the source of all money in circulation is your and others' trade name and signed promise to pay in exchange for loans of credit, which is actually exchange for air, issued in your name. Banks are accounting and bookkeeping operations with only enough cash on hand to keep customers satisfied, and covertly use your trade name and your promise to pay to credit money and generate profit. The long-term intention of the money power is to abolish cash completely and leave people with trackable electronic funds only. This is going to be in full swing around October, before the end of this year, and before, I believe, March or May of 2003. Because all names are no more than property, no one is his trade name, nor is anyone his really true name. The primary reason we are faced with the current dismal affairs of people's misunderstanding are because of people's misunderstanding of the nature of their name. Whereas a sovereign uses a name only for purposes of recognition that someone else desires communication with him or her, nearly all other people have lost sight of their own sovereign character via confusion about the name. Your name, your true name, more closely approximate who you are, but is not corporate like your trade name. The legal masters of the world have capitalized on this simple distinction between true name and trade name to ensure your continued subjugation. The primary pitfall is that all capital letter trade names sounds exactly like the true name when spoken. This phenomenon has no particular significance in our society except in the courtroom, and a courtroom can be a dangerous place to be. Thankfully, this manual can help you stay out of courtrooms, but not everyone is so fortunate. Simple observation tells us that a primary function of today's private, foreign-owned and operated court system is the transfer of personal wealth and freedom into the hands of the courts, banks, government, corporations, and the tax agencies. The judge is calling out your name in one language, legalese. He is reading from the legal documents in front of him, and the customer, you, is innocently listening in the other language, English. You see the distinction? He's calling your name on a legalese language. You're listening from your English language. You don't know that he has invited you to do business. He's about to put his hands in your pocket. This otherwise harmless overlap of the language is then immediately, forcibly, and unmercifully applied to the victim's profound detriment. Such deception is now indispensable in maintaining the current level of commercial profit levels in the court. You should just visit traffic courts. Just go into traffic courts and sit there one day and watch how they be snatching people's money. It's all revenue. By following the procedures outlined in this manual, unwanted victimization at the hands of the judicial legal system can be minimized and even avoided or bypassed altogether. The UCC provides for filing offices in each state and elsewhere so that a creditor may give formal public notice to the legal relationship between himself and a debtor. It allows for the creditor, called the secure party, to perfect, that's legally established, a secured interest, a private lien essentially, above all others including the government, in the property of the debtor, thereby ensuring payment of or specific performance by the debtor and officially precluding any third party from impairing in that private contract. As shown herein, your straw man or trade name is the debtor and you are the secured party. Your exact relationship with each other is more precisely defined as a private agreement. A description of the property pledged by the debtor as collateral for securing the obligation is contained in a secured agreement. Significant additions to the third edition are the copyright notice. This is what they're telling you. The most dramatic aspect of the third edition is the facility for obtaining non-judicial judgment against any legal attacker who would insist upon using your private property trade name for financial gain without your authorization. Be he or she judge, prosecutor, IRS attorney, traffic IRS agent, attorney, traffic cop, government agent, anyone. Hitherto, such have used, heretofore, such have used your trade name to pad their own bank accounts. This no longer need be the case, as each such character will face financial ruin in short order should he or she insist on using your copyrighted property without your permission after having been notified. The non-judicial foreclosure procedure follows closely thereafter, and no one has a monopoly on it. The code encrypting Esquires of the money power have crafted the UCC and now revised Article 9 for the high-speed transfer of wealth, your wealth, into Big Brother's coffers without the nuisance of consulting the courts. For this reason, and because the code has now been cracked, regular folks can use the same procedure for thwarting would-be legal marauders and can reverse the wealth transfer or flow against anyone who foolishly believes he can take property without just compensation. You need not toil under the threat of paper terrorism of the legal system any longer. With what is available here, you can, with certainty and confidence, regain control of your life and protect yourself, your family, your property from the rapacious mulok, that is the government, and separate any would-be bandit in the employ thereof from his wealth and property if he insists on proceeding without compensating you. Helping you accomplish these things by unraveling the mystery, exposing the key elements, and guiding you through it is the aim of this manual. Now, I would go on, except I want to qualify a few things. Your name is private property, as said. When you have your UCC and the paperwork that you are needed to have, everything that you've been given to have, and a policeman stops you, the policeman puts on his flashing lights. By definition, the flashing light is an emergency signal. So obviously this man who's behind you in this so-called official car, this public servant, believes that there is an emergency he feels. When he pulls you over, he's inviting you to do business. That's the emergency. Whenever you see them starting to pull everybody over, it's for the accrual of revenue. They want money because the system needs taxes. So you could have a light out, or he could be just suspecting something is wrong. Your spiel is, you crack the window. Yes, officer, what is the emergency? I'd like to see your license and registration. You reply, I do not wish to follow with this course of conversation. What you're telling him essentially is, I don't want to do business with you. He insists, I'd like to see your license and registration. You repeat, I do not wish to follow with this course of conversation. He steps back, puts his hand on his gun, tells you, I don't give a damn what you're saying, open up this damn window. Yeah. Oh, you say, okay, under threat of death and force and personal harm against my body, I will do business with you. You now present him with paperwork. You've notified him that if he were to put any name on anything to bring you into court, being notified that he is liable to pay you for the use of your name $500,000. Now, he may not know what's going on. You ask him for a card. He gives you the ticket. You say, may I have a card, please? Sure. He's just giving you his card to do business. He may not know what the hell is going on. But when you get this thing down in court, the judge will know. His ass is grass. The judge himself will not say your name in court. He'll call the case number. Good. He will not say your name, because if the judge uses your name, he has to pay you. The UCC has no racial context, has no racial subsections. UCC is for everyone. Your name is a slave name when used in the system. Your birth certificate, everyone should have a vault copy of your birth certificate. Not just the one that they dash off and give you at the top. Because you can go down now and ask for your birth certificate and they run one off for you at just a drop of a hat. That's not the one you want. You want the one that's in the vault, which will take about 2 or 3 weeks to get. That one has a specific seal on it. And if you have an old enough one, it will say on the bottom, negotiable note, or a fiduciary instrument, or treasury note. On the bottom of your birth certificate, it says treasury note. Your birth certificate was sent to the World Trade Center, and from the World Trade Center your name was used to leverage and discharge debt. You can reclaim it with the UCC-1. And with the UCC-1 note, you now have the ability to capture your name, own your name, and all property attached to your name. You have put a lien on that name. Anyone using that name without your express permission has to pay the price. 500,000 is a good price. I put 1.5. I can't say any more beyond that point, except for the fact that when you are using the UCC, I know some people, especially some brothers, some brother Moors, who just went ape shit with it, started buying cars and houses and all kind of shit. You got to be cool with it. You got to be undercover with it. You can buy property with it. You can get yourself a credit card, because with the credit card now, you can run up the credit card. Once you receive the bill, you can discharge the debt, because you are no longer a debtor. You are a creditor. You now have access to the public treasury. Now, the reason why Kevin had pulled this thing to the side, he didn't know, was that those who would come from yesterday's thing was going to get something very special. And those who are here are privy to certain information that you only have a very short period of time to act upon. You have to be 18 and over. You cannot be under 18. Your freedom must be requested by you, yourself. No one else can do it for you, but we can actually put the applications in for you. Once you have gotten the applications, and I still don't know the true process because the good brother down there in Maryland is helping me. Once you have gotten it, you are to take your paperwork and go down to a local newspaper. Could be one that is published by Five Town Piggly Wiggly. Doesn't matter. You can go to one of the heavier ones like the Atlantic Constitution, which I would suggest you go to, if you wish. But you have to go to the legal section and put a legal notice to everyone and have it there for 3 weeks straight, or 3 days. You publish it for 3 weeks or 3 days straight. I'm not sure yet, but we'll get all the information. What you've done is serve public notice to everyone that you have reclaimed your name, and that this official name cannot be used without the assessment of a specific duty that is owed upon the use of that copyright. Once that happens, you go and file it into the court, and you are a free person. But now you have to learn how to stand on your square. You have to overstand and not punk up when the cop talks to you. Because at the time when it looks the darkest, if all your paperwork is in order and you've notified everyone, that cop is in trouble. That cop is in trouble. And anyone who moves against you in that capacity, using your name without your permission. Now, this is a responsibility which takes study. You must study, you must work at understanding what you possess. Do not think that this is just a free ride. With this much power comes an enormous amount of responsibility. Because they will fast put you away. If they know that you got part of the information, they'll come down worse than they would come down on the cattle. So it is up to you. It is incumbent upon you to work hard and to become more and more diligent of your freedom. You can purchase cars with it. In fact, if you don't have a credit card, get a credit card and start a little credit card. Pay off 2 or 3 of the what do you call it? And then before you know it, every credit card in the business will be looking for you. Because you have AAA, what is that, credit approval? Once you get that, you get more and more of the credit cards, and then you can actually make loans. In fact, you could go down and purchase buildings and properties. They teach you how to be able to get those properties. It's an easy way. The same way these people are getting enriched, and they wonder why certain people, how is this person doing it? They know the secret. And they're not telling anybody. So with this, you have gotten the first step on this camera to understanding what it is that your name truly means. That there is no more such thing as money. There is only credit. Okay. Yes?
So what's the process that has to be started to fill out an application?
The application is, well, first things first, you need your birth certificate and a legal ID, driver's license or birth certificate, or what do you think you travel with? Passport. In fact, I would suggest you go and get your your international passports now. Really? Yes, the only place that they issue them is from Washington and Japan. Washington, D.C. and Japan are the only 2 places that issue these. Now, it's an international passport. They also have an international birth certificate, an international birth card, also international road travel. I'll pass a couple of mine around and show it to you. But unless you are completely out of the system, this one, the first one is distributed or issued by the first one here by the United Nations is issued by Kissinger. The second one is Moorish. Pass that, brother, if you want to look at it. Second one is the one I got being from up in Vineland. They hooked me up with that one. But get yourself 2 pieces of ID. I'm not sure how he would take this from you, because the brother that's doing it now, he is doing police lieutenants, fire marshals, senators. He's doing everybody. And these people are bombarding this brother. And what he is doing is so airtight. And they're getting ready to change how this is going to be done. The UCC changes October 9th. They're shutting it down. Somebody's outside looking for your thing, brother. I'm not sure. Who is she? Oh, by the way, Maynard Ferguson was here. Maynard Jackson, I mean, was just here. Twice. So you might be putting bugs up around to listen to y'all. Might have cameras right now shooting this meeting. Cameras in the flower pots or some shit. Yes, sister.
What was the name of the
This is breaking the code. White boy out of Midwest. In fact, the brother that is doing the UCCs was the only brother that was at this particular meeting back when I was deep into this, about 10, 12 years ago. There was a meeting that took place in Las Vegas where they told you the whole secrets of the UCC. Out of the 1,000 or so people that was there, only one black man was there. And this black man, it became the mentor to the brother that's doing the UCC. All right? So he knows his business. This guy is the grandfather. This brother has got his stuff down. And he's getting people out of jail that could not get out of jail any other way.
Basically, he's making good money.
Huh?
I said, basically, he's making good money.
Of course he is, and what better way? I mean, he's getting you out of the system, and I would charge that. He could charge $5,000 for what he's doing. In fact, he's doing that to the people who got the money to afford it. For the people like us, $750, because most of that, a portion of that goes for the filing fee. You see, so yeah, the brother's making a living. He's making a living, and yeah, most definitely, why not? If I could do that, yes, I would make a living as well. Because I know it would be helping a hell of a lot of people, good people. So, you know, it isn't like you don't know. And with knowledge comes responsibility. You see, so I left this as a gift pretty much for everybody. Because, you know, you've shown, you know, that energy that we needed in order, your support of Kevin and the work that Kevin is doing. And I felt that you all needed to know something very, very powerful, very strong. How many of you all will act upon it? Well, that remains to be seen. But again, on the UCC, there is no reference to race. They don't care who you are. If you got it, good. You can become legally free. Even when you become an international person, is in fact, I'm putting in for my international passport. When you do become one, anything happens to you, you may be extradited. In fact, the Office of World Affairs has attorneys that comes down to your aid in the event anything legal happens. They send down world attorneys to come to stand at your side. And they could extradite you to any country that you want. Or they can send you to any country that you want in the event that anything happens any place. Because remember, you are no longer in the same thing with O.J. Simpson. That was a commerce case. It didn't have nothing to do with a murder. It was all commerce.
Murder is commerce.
Huh?
I'm saying murder is commerce.
Yes, it is. It's all commerce. Question? Yes, sister.
Since you made reference to OJ, what about Imam Jamil Al-Amin?
Imam Jamil Al-Amin, if he were to do this, he may be able to walk out of this. But you see, they want him on symbolic references.
Yes.
There's a difference. They will keep you as a prisoner of conscience as well as being a political prisoner.
Also, the attorney played a big part of it too.
Oh yeah, the attorney, definitely. You know, I would love to be able to help brothers like that and Mumia, all the rest of them. But these people will be kept prisoners. Anybody moving in that capacity would be definitely bringing down people who are higher than that. The ones who establish the law will move against you. Because there's certain things that they want to do to maintain the cattle in a specific perception, no matter who they are. Or they will just assassinate the person. All right, we done moved out of this one, or is there something else? Yeah, we want to go to any questions? Because, I mean, we want to get to the metaphysics now?
Yes.
Okay. After yesterday, I would think that somebody has a question or two. Y'all came back? Yes, brother.
How do we convert matter into spiritual substance?
Brother asks, how do we convert matter into spiritual substance? Well, matter and spirit are the same. Spirit is simply another form or another kind of matter. The spirit that we're talking about is a higher resonating quality of matter. Spirit can invaginate matter, and matter itself can become spirit based on the spirit taking the oscillating or vibrating rate of matter to ever higher and higher speeds and velocities. You can vibrate matter to a spiritual quality once you have taken the quality of spirit and converted matter the way you take the lead to gold, where they talk about changing lead to gold. That essentially is what the whole thing about alchemy is. Converting lead to gold is changing spiritual energy or changing matter into spiritual energy. So it's simply changing the rate that the atoms or pre-atoms or the particuli are vibrating or oscillating on, and then changing the variable, the specific alignments and different speed orientations, and then before you know it, matter begins to transcend and lose its density. It is not that it's not matter anymore, it is matter of another quality. The same way you look at water. When water is in a liquid form, based upon the temperature, it stays in its particular sense in that particular liquid medium. But change the conditioning around it, making it cold, and water becomes ice. Take that same ice, heat it, it will turn back to liquid, heat it further, and it turns to a gas. So water has three properties: gas, liquid, and solid. That is who you are. You are specifically occupying yourself now as a solid property. But within you is a liquid medium, which is inherently part of your bloodstream, and you feed upon gases. You don't feed upon food. Your body inhales the breath because that is the medium upon which your life force exists. So the breath essentially is the medium by which gas or gaseous substances in the air, oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, plus solar force energies, are taken into the body and converted, densified, condensed inside of the alveoli into what becomes the liquid medium and then the solid medium. So you are a gas, a liquid, and a solid. Yes, beloved.
How does this relate to getting certificate of blind birth, like baby manure?
That's your certificate. That's the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Question.
Yes, brother.
Are you familiar with people that are actually utilizing the UCC in
Yes.
New York and other places?
Yes.
Have y'all ever encountered judges that try to act like they don't know what that is?
There are ones that have done that and have paid.
There was a case, a personal friend of mine had in DeKalb County, the county right adjacent to Fulton County, and they tried to plead, ignorance to all the stuff that his documents were showing.
Right.
And it just came down to whether he had the resolve to actually do the judge.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they can't imagine.
Yeah, they can't imagine moving against the judge.
Yeah. They can't
Yeah.
imagine it.
Yeah.
And so, what he was saying about it being a serious thing, it really is. It will really test who you think you are.
That's right.
Because when people sit on that bench, you really do have everybody standing.
Yes, they do.
Everybody moving.
Yes, they do.
When you get them, when you have the ability to do them,
That's right.
you gotta do them.
Yes, you do. But a lot of people punk up, get scared, and then they convert back to their trade name, their label name, and then all of a sudden they become prey again. You have to definitely have a spiritual resolve. That's why you have to be spiritually strong in this particular resolve. This is a spiritual war. They will bully you back into your slave status, and they may even lock you up in jail, thinking that they would get you to concede, but you just take that night and start counting your money from there. But you have to stand fast, and you will take everything. That's if your paperwork is in order. You will own everything because the judge has a bond. All people who are public servants have bonds. And once you put a lien on that bond, you own his home, his wife, his dog, you own everything. He can't sell anything anymore because his name is shit. Yes, brother.
As a matter of fact, I just wanted to say one last thing. There was a judge in I think it was Colorado or somewhere.
Yes.
Where a creditor got it.
Yes.
And auctioned his house on eBay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Auctioned the man's house. That's not the first one. They did it in New York as well. That's right. And they did it over there in California and somewhere in Missouri. Yes.
Now the police, they don't have a bond. Most of the police done, the sheriff.
Yeah, the sheriff is in an elected office. So if he's in an elected office, he got a bond. You just got to know where to find it. Yeah, there you go. Very good. Yes, brother.
Yesterday when you were showing, you were talking a little bit about the World Trade, and you showed a picture of the Statue of Liberty. Were you showing that as a possible next target for their next particular strike?
Well, actually, yeah.
Because I heard it might be an aircraft carrier.
Yeah, what they're going to do, yeah, they may blow up an aircraft carrier. That's one of them. Or they may end up hitting a specific area in Seattle.
Space Needle?
Yeah. May go for the Seattle Space Needle, or they may get someplace in Chicago. But they're dealing with monuments.
Yeah.
They want to bring down monuments.
Do you have an estimate of when that may happen?
It's going to happen sometime in 2003. I don't know when, but it's going to probably take out masses of people, somewhere in the avenue of 20, 30,000 they want to get rid of.
Okay, now you also mentioned something about a possible nuclear attack.
Yeah.
If you see the movie The Sum of All Fears, the premise of the movie is a nuclear bomb goes off in the Baltimore area.
Yes.
They hid the bomb through a cigar machine,
Yeah.
a cigarette dispenser.
Yeah.
Where this one particular brand, when the dude pulled on it to get
Yes.
the cigarette,
Yeah.
there he went, there
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'll tell you this. There has been tactical low-yield nuclear weapons under consideration for the past, I would say, 7 to 10 years. And tactical weaponry based upon the yield has always been something that the United States have been wanting to do for a long period of time. They have already perfected tactical nukes on a small scale basis. In other words, to take out maybe a 1 square mile area.
Yeah, you know they have ones that can go 1 light year away from the planet.
Well, those weapons already, Al Bielek told me about that a while back.
He was talking about that in a lecture tape that I got my hands on.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't born out there, he was born Edward Duncan.
Yeah.
And he talks about how
Yes.
that whole thing.
Yeah. He told me about the weapon that they could shoot into 1 light year from here and hit a ship 1 light year away. Yeah. Like I said, we don't know where the target will be, but it's going to be for maximum effect. So you can figure that it's going to hit a lot of civilians. It's going to affect a lot of civilians somewhere, probably in the Midwest.
Maybe Super Bowl.
Yeah, where they would want to minimize the damage, though make the statement. You see, that's why they made it. They made the World Trade such a specific spot to hit. They knew it would be contained in that area. They brought it down demolition-wise. A nuclear hit would have to be contained, or at least be absorbed in the surrounding areas, and not affect, after a particular period of time, the place that they want to deal with. Now you notice the fires that's been going on. There are at least 49 fires going around right now, and there's drought warnings in 49 states. So you have fires in Canada, down through specific areas all the way in the Midwest, that's moving thousands of people out of there. Those fires are purposely being set to move the population from that area. Something's getting ready to go down there. I'm still investigating. We'll know in a little while. Yes, bro.
Yeah, I was just wondering. I just wanted clarification. Actually, I
Yeah.
did it about the way that I lost my train of thought.
UCC?
Yeah, well, not with the UCC, but just with the tactical nuclear weapons and you know, the whole neutron bomb destroying people but not property. They're
right.
interested in destroying people.
Right.
But they want to, I guess, reclaim the land or reclaim the buildings or reclaim that.
Well, you know, I feel it's a ritual because essentially, since you have no more worth in the fact that you see, America now has become obsolete as a producing country. The materials that they need, especially for, I would say, technology, they get from outside of the country. The most big brother efficient country is down there in Taiwan, in those areas down around the east, because they've moved all of their electronic materials and all of their electronic technologies out of the United States and over into the areas of the Middle East and to the east. So you are no longer a property that is worth anything because you're not producing. You're not giving them any intellectual property for them to actually be using, because all their intellectual property is overseas. You're not giving them any manufacturing property. You're not giving them anything, so you're worthless.
So essentially what they're looking at is actually, you know, the type of labor that is normally done in the United States, or the average person.
Exactly.
The manufacturing jobs, they're moving all of that stuff out.
Right.
That's why you have NAFTA, you have GATT, you have all these different treaties.
Right.
So that these big corporations can go wherever they want to in order to get the cheapest or the cheapest resource.
So what do you do now? Yes.
Bring our wages
down, but then it makes you obsolete.
But exactly.
Yeah.
Because most people won't even work.
So what do you do with millions of obsolete people? You got to get rid of them. Millions of obsolete people in the United States of America and nothing to feed them with. That's revolution. So what must you do? You must now station foreign troops who are part of the New World Order here on the land, so that when the time comes that they crash the system, which they're going to do in October, and everybody wants their money from the bank, and they have another bank holiday like Roosevelt did, they crash the whole system, the people are going to start revolting. Once the people start revolting, they're going to need a security force here to keep them in there. Now what do? They take the Americans who have their hearts here and send them overseas on a battle to die. They bring the overseas people over here who don't give shit about you, and you could be killed easily. That's why you see at a lot of these gun shows, I don't see enough of black folks at these gun shows. Where are the dark folks at these gun shows? These white boys are there putting together machine guns. They're getting ready.
That's right.
Everybody, anytime you see or read about a gun show, get your ass down there.
And they also got land.
Yes, they do. They damn sure do. I mean, I got something else to show you. Get one today. I'm a 5-year member in good standing. I'm a Second Amendment man. Get one today. You understand, huh? Oh yeah, most definitely. Yes, that's right. That's right. You all don't understand that it is time. It is time. If you do not get down to some of these gun shows and start showing yourself, or at least finding out how to go about getting a gun, if you got yourself a license and you're in good standing, you can go out there and get a gun. Especially down in Florida. Yeah, yes, brother.
They got 2 gun shows at the end of this month.
You hear that?
And the first of next month.
2 gun shows here in Atlanta at the end of this month and at the first of next month. Y'all get your asses down there. Be the only blacks in there with these home nigga there now. Them motherfuckers is getting ready.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are. Yes.
When I lived in Texas back in the 70s, everybody had one.
Yeah. In Texas, you're supposed to have a gun.
You didn't need a license.
No.
You just pack a gun.
You packed your heat. In fact, when in Dade, I went down to Dade, motherfuckers is walking around with this shit on their hip like they're in Tombstone.
They call it Wild Wild West.
Yeah. They got it on the, I'm saying, God damn, look at that shit. So you can give me one. Yeah. In fact, in North Carolina, my partner, when I went up there, it was in North or South Carolina, my man had his piece on the seat. Police pulled us over. And I'm saying, oh shit, being from New York. And he was cool. He said, nah, it's cool, man. He said, everything's all right. And the police looked in there, shined his light in there, said anything, looked at it, said, thank you, have a nice day. As long as you show it. As long as it's out there. And you can go and buy yourself a shotgun. You don't need no license. Have something. Yes, sir.
What about a convicted felon?
Get one anyway. Shit, there's always ways to get guns. Hell, you can get a gun. Yes, sister.
My question was just, you had spoke about all the advanced technology that we have yesterday. So my question was about security, but I mean, I guess you just told us, the type of security.
Well, that's just backup security. Real security is here. Knowing how to travel.
Yes.
If you don't know how to travel, like I was saying, you ain't got your antenna up, forget it. You know when danger's around, you could feel it. Your spirit tells you when danger's around. You can either get the hell out of there or be ready for it.
Yeah.
You see? Always. And you travel in the spirit. Keep your light around you, and you will be definitely sidestepping. You'll be leaving the premises or the area 5 minutes before shit happens. If you keep your antenna up. Yes, sister?
Yeah, well, my question is, if you work in a technology field, how do you remain in it without assisting the problem and becoming, affected by it as well with radioactivity and all of that?
Yeah. Well, there are screens you could put on that thing.
That's like minimal, isn't it?
Yes, it is. You have to, you know what? Take this number down. 1-800 800-1300, and take this account number down. 122-428-413. 413. Order. They have 60, 120, and 240 capsules. Order Alpha and Omega blue-green algae. Alpha and Omega blue-green algae, either in the 60, the 120, or 240 capsule amount. The blue-green algae will become, mark my words, the only true basic food left on this planet to eat. Because without blue-green algae, the planet could not survive. In fact, remember that Exxon Valdez that blew up, that crashed in Arctic that time and spilled all that? What's bringing the actual land back is the blue-green algae. Blue-green algae has an oxygen-carrying molecules. They carry the molecules oxygen. And they're the primary source of the chlorophyll and the living force that up the scale of the, up the eating scale or the primary food chain, the pyramid chain. They are at the bottom. Without them, the rest of the pyramid don't get built. They have found a way to harvest it from Lake Klamath. Now I don't know, because I heard the government was doing some mischief over in Lake Klamath. So if you got your pendulum, do your reading. And that's another good thing to carry, a pendulum, and learn how to carry and follow and work with your pendulum. You can ask questions of the etheric, the akasha, with your pendulum. Yes.
This fan is loud back here, we can probably hear you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, the pendulum, what did you say?
The pendulum, to learn how to use the pendulum. Yeah, because the pendulum can give you, thank you, the pendulum can give you answers to invisible questions, to etheric questions.
Is it like when you have a crystal on a plate?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it could be a crystal. Anything could be a pendulum. You can take your earrings off and be one.
Okay.
You just learn the principle of the pendulum and how it works, because that will tell you whether there's high radiation anywhere. It will tell you if your food is either organic or not. You know, there are things that you can begin to do in preparing for the change or the shift by establishing communication with the higher forces. And the way to do that is through psionics, which is what pendulum analysis and broadcast healing is. Using those principles. In fact, when your queen called me, it was the pendulum that I used to find out the things that she needed. You know, so the pendulum is an excellent tool once you have it in your hand, and it works to give you the answers that your body you can't give to the answers yet, because your body has not yet expressed it so that you could identify it, but it's just a signature of energy. Being a signature of energy, you can still read the body if you understand how the body speaks. By speaking to you, it speaks to you in potential signature languages. Once you learn to read the signature, you know how to read what's getting ready to happen on the surface before even doctors can do that. I used to do that in hospitals when I went to visit, and I would read the people that I would see in the bed, and then I'd tell the doctor what's getting ready to happen. He checked, nothing was happening. 2-3 days later, the shit happened. That's because the signature tells you if you continue to go along this line, you will fill out the requirements for a specific symptom that can be recognized and then named. Yes, sister?
Is there literature that explains the different movements of the pendulum?
Yes, you can find it. You have to go to any of these other stores. I don't know what your metaphysical bookstore name is down here. Do anybody know where they can get some metaphysical? Crystal Blue in these places? Okay, great, fine. Then go there, and you could find out. And I remember over here we had the Sirius books and tapes with Kevin. He had all that material. I don't know if he still has it, you know, in his book categories. If he does, then you go to Kevin. Don't go nobody else. Go to Kevin.
Kevin, you still have it?
I got to check.
Yes, sister. Huh? They have a dowsing society? Well, you can look them up on the web then. Okay, sure. By all means. But the dowsing society is good for formal dowsing, which is nice. Okay, but I'm just saying, yeah, they show you different things, but these pendulum, the use of pendulums have a higher...
It's online now.
I'll wait. Everybody done? Okay. The pendulum has grades that you have to learn. You can't just start spinning. There is a psychic interface that you must make with the forces that move the pendulum. If you don't learn how to interface psychically and spiritually with the thing that you're communicating with, which happens to be the 4 elements, fire, air, water, and earth, or the WORD of God, you essentially are speaking to the vibratory rates that the consciousness continuum and the social thought stream is giving you information on. Your body has signatures based on a language of energy, and those signatures can be read once you understand how to properly identify and how to ask the question. You have to ask it so that it becomes a yes or no answer. You can't just ask it to start giving you proper names and read off sentences and shit in your head. It don't work like that. Yeah, right. Or like a Ouija board.
It's kind of like those 8 balls where you ask the question.
Nah, that has a fixed set of ball of information.
I'm saying it's the same thing. You ask a yes or no question.
Yes.
And then if you do it, and it says yes or no.
Right. That's the one when you, yeah, again, that it depends on whether or not the 8 ball or the 8, whatever that ball is what do you call that? Its gyroscopic mechanism is working properly.
Does the Ouija board work on those same principles?
Yeah, it works upon those same principles. Yes, brother.
This is piggybacking on the question I asked yesterday, last night, from mathematics of the base. We mentioned 13 is harmonic, soul versus without the stripe. And then you showed how, like, the restaurant McDonald's, 13 is in their logo, and then Arby's.
Right.
My question is, how do you incorporate 13 in your life? Because you're saying how they've taken our magic and are now using it against us.
Right.
How do you
incorporate the 13th harmonic? That's a good question. The question was, how does one use the 13, the number 13, the energy from the 13th, and incorporate that power within their life today? Well, it's a consolidation and a resignation of all resistance to circumstances as they are happening. We are in the end times, therefore we cannot change a truck that's going downhill with no brakes. We can simply jump off or ride it to its conclusion. What happens is now, the 13th harmonic is to give you a resolve to the feeling and desire that brought you into the flesh. Feeling and desire are the two components that are the polarity balance within the flesh. Feeling is within the nerves, desire is within the blood. These two dynamics are what you amplify in your being and is what is necessary to choose what gender you are going to manifest this particular energy through. So if your father and your mother, your father being the determinant for the gender, if the father is basically dealing with a feeling matrix at the time he seeds you, then the seed would be feminine. If his matrix is desire, he lays with you and his energy is, man, I gotta get, I gotta become successful, I gotta be this and I gotta be, what do you call it, and 9 times out of 10 the seed would be charged with a desire frequency and it would be a male. Now I know this sounds, well, wait a minute, how did you narrow it down? Because there is no accident. The medical science thinks it's an accident to have a boy or a girl. There is no accident. In the seeding of that entity, the charge that the egg has and the charge that the sperm has definitely chooses what spirit is going to come through at that point, basically. Now the spirit that comes through that energy is based upon the charge at the time when the sperm hits that egg. Remember, the egg is a neutral slate, potential. The actualization of that potential, or the use and utilization of the materials, is based upon who or what charge was used